Now, I want to tell you something that is going to completely reorganize the furniture inside your mind. Most people carry around a picture of gravity that is just simply wrong. Not a little wrong, deeply, fundamentally, beautifully wrong. And the wonderful thing is, once you see the real picture, once you actually feel what gravity is doing to the physical universe around you, you will never be able to go back to the old broken picture again. So let us start right there. Let us start with the misconception, because that is where the real fun begins. The picture most people have is this. You have the Earth sitting in space, and it reaches out with some kind of invisible arm, some kind of mysterious pulling force, and it grabs the moon and holds it in place. And it grabs you, and it grabs the apple on the tree, and everything just gets pulled toward everything else, like magnets, like some cosmic tug of war happening across empty space. Now, Newton saw this. Newton described it with breathtaking mathematical precision. He wrote an equation that told you precisely how hard the pull would be, how fast things would accelerate, all of it. And the equation worked. It worked so well that we used it to send rockets to the moon. So what is the problem? The problem is Newton himself said he had no idea what gravity actually was. He could describe what it did, he could measure it, he could calculate it with tremendous accuracy. But the actual physical mechanism, the reason why mass reaches across empty space and pulls on other mass, he called it action at a distance, and he said he did not know how it worked. He refused to speculate. And that gap, that beautiful open wound in our understanding, sat there for over 200 years until a young man named Albert Einstein decided to think about it in a completely different way. Einstein did not ask, how does gravity pull things together? He asked a much more dangerous and productive question. He asked, what if gravity is not a pull at all? What if the whole picture is wrong from the beginning? And what came out of that question was one of the most physically stunning ideas in the history of human thought. It is called general relativity, and it says that gravity is not a force. Gravity is the geometry of space-time itself. Now, I know that sounds like a sentence a professor says right before he puts you to sleep, but I want you to actually feel this. So let us think very carefully and build this up piece by piece. Imagine a bug. A completely blind bug walking on a flat, soft mattress. This bug can only move forward. It has no eyes. It cannot look around. It just walks in what it believes is a perfectly straight line. And on a flat mattress, it does walk in a straight line. Now you take a heavy bowling ball and you put it right in the middle of that mattress. The ball sinks deep into the fabric. The mattress curves down around it. Now that same blind bug starts walking near the bowling ball, but the surface is no longer flat. The surface curves toward the ball. So the bug, walking in what it genuinely believes is a perfectly straight line, following the local shape of the surface under its feet, curves toward the ball. It slides along the curved geometry of the mattress toward the heavy object sitting in the middle of it. Here is the critical part. No force touched that bug. Nothing pulled it. Nothing grabbed it. The geometry of the surface simply changed, and the bug followed the geometry. From the bug's perspective, something mysterious pulled it toward the ball. From your perspective, standing above, watching the whole mattress, you see the truth. There is no pull. There is just curved geometry. Einstein said space-time is the mattress, and mass is the bowling ball. Now let us talk about what mass physically does to the fabric of reality. You have 4 dimensions around you right now. 3 of space, the usual left, right, forward, backward, up, down, and 1 of time. These 4 dimensions are not separate independent things. They are woven together into a single continuous physical structure. That structure is space-time and mass, specifically the energy packed inside mass. Because mass and energy are 2 faces of the same physical coin, as Einstein showed us separately, that dense energy physically deforms the geometry of space-time around it. The Earth is sitting in space-time right now, and it is bending the fabric of space-time around it. The sun is doing it more dramatically. A black hole does it so severely that the geometry folds completely in on itself. But every object with mass or energy, every single one, bends space-time. And that bending is gravity. Not a consequence of gravity, not a side effect of gravity. That bending is gravity. They are the same thing. Now here comes the part that I personally find the most astonishing, and I have been thinking about physics for a very long time. When people hear space-time, they think mostly about space. They imagine the mattress bending in space, the grid lines of the cosmos curving around a planet, and that spatial curvature is real and it matters. But the dominant effect of mass on everyday gravity, the gravity you feel standing on this planet right now, comes almost entirely from the time part, not the space part, the warping of time. Mass slows down time, not metaphorically, not as a thought experiment. Physically, measurably, provably, time itself runs at different speeds depending on how close you are to a massive object. Down near the surface of the Earth, close to all that dense mass under your feet, time runs slower. Up high, far from the Earth's surface, time runs faster. We have measured this. We have clocks on satellites and clocks on the ground, and the clocks in orbit run faster than the clocks at sea level by a precise, measurable amount every single day. The GPS system in your phone has to correct for this effect constantly, or it would give you wildly wrong positions within a matter of hours. So time is not uniform. Time runs at different rates in different places, and mass controls those rates. Now I want you to hold that thought and think about the apple on the tree. Why does the apple fall? The apple is sitting up on the branch, and it is existing in four-dimensional space-time, 3 dimensions of space and 1 of time. The apple, like everything else in the universe, naturally moves through space-time. And here is the thing, everything in the universe moves through space-time at the same total rate. You are always moving through space-time. When you sit perfectly still in space, you are moving entirely through the time dimension. You are aging. You are moving forward in time at the full rate. When you move very fast through space, some of that motion gets redirected from the time dimension into the space dimension, which is precisely why fast-moving objects experience time more slowly. That is special relativity, and it is gorgeous, but it is a different conversation. The apple is sitting there, and it is moving through time. Time near the top of the tree runs very slightly faster than time near the ground. And the apple, in moving through space-time, naturally follows the path that takes it from the region of faster time toward the region of slower time. That is the straightest possible path through curved space-time. Just like the blind bug on the curved mattress was walking in the straightest possible path on a curved surface, the apple does not get pulled downward. The apple slides along the curvature of time toward the region where time runs slowest. And the region where time runs slowest is where the mass is densest. Near the ground, near the heavy earth below it, gravity is not a rope connecting mass to mass. Gravity is the consequence of time running at different speeds in different places, caused by the presence of mass and energy warping the geometry of space-time. Let me say that one more time in a different way because it is important enough to hear from 2 directions. Objects in freefall, a falling apple, the moon orbiting the Earth orbiting the sun, these objects are not being pushed or pulled by any force at all. They are following the most natural, most geometrically straight path available to them through curved space-time. We call these paths geodesics. On a flat surface, a geodesic is a straight line. On a curved surface, a geodesic curves with the surface. The moon is following a geodesic through the space-time curved by the sunday. It is not fighting a force and losing. It is coasting freely along the natural shape of the universe around it. And that is a profound physical shift. In Newton's picture, the moon is constantly being grabbed and yanked sideways by the sun's gravitational pull, prevented from flying off in a straight line. In Einstein's picture, the moon is doing nothing of the sort. The moon is simply falling freely through curved geometry. It never gets any closer to the sun because the geometry curves around and comes back on itself, forming a closed loop through space-time. The moon is not being held. The moon is free. Now let us talk about what generates this curvature. Because I have been saying mass curves space-time, and that is true, but I want to be more precise about it. It is not just mass. It is energy, momentum, pressure, stress. These physical quantities are all contained in what physicists call the stress-energy tensor, which is the full description of how much physical stuff is present and how it is moving and pressing. That full physical content of matter and energy tells spacetime how to curve, and curved spacetime tells matter and energy how to move. Those 2 things, matter telling spacetime how to curve and curved spacetime telling matter how to move, are locked in a continuous physical conversation with each other. That sentence, matter tells spacetime how to curve, and Curved Spacetime Tells Matter How to Move, was written by the physicist John Archibald Wheeler, and it is the most compact physical description of general relativity that I know of. It captures the whole idea. There is no force crossing empty space. There is a dynamic, living physical geometry, constantly being shaped by the matter and energy moving through it, and constantly shaping the paths of the matter and energy moving through it. This also explains something wonderful. If you are in free fall, in a freely falling elevator, for instance, you feel no gravity, you feel weightless. And from the perspective of general relativity, you genuinely are free of gravity in the local sense, because you are following a geodesic. You are following the natural geometry of space-time. It is only when the ground pushes up on your feet that you feel what we normally call the feeling of gravity. That sensation is actually the ground accelerating you upward away from your natural free-fall path through curved space-time. Standing on the Earth is the non-inertial state. Falling freely is the natural state. That is why astronauts on the International Space Station are weightless. They are not far enough from the Earth for gravity to be negligible. Earth's gravity is quite strong up there, but they are in free fall. They are falling around the Earth continuously, following the geodesic of curved space-time, and so they feel nothing. No floor pushes up on them. They coast. The universe does not pull. The universe curves. Mass presses into the geometry of space-time and bends it, the way a heavy stone bends the surface of still water when it is placed gently on top. Time slows near dense energy. Space curves around it. Objects follow the resulting geometry not because they are forced to, but because the curved geometry defines what a straight path is. An apple falls because following a straight path through warped time means moving toward the slower region. A planet orbits because the most natural path through the curved space-time of the sun forms a closed loop. A light beam bends near a star because even massless photons follow the geodesics of curved space-time.